guys. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Black Talk Pod with Bami. I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing, for sharing our content, for engaging, for following, and for helping us to share the content to your loved ones. Really appreciate each and every one of you. We want to go into another wonderful episode today. I have with me my friend Batuli. We want to dive into free speech in the digital age. You know, before I go into the monologue, I want Batuli to introduce herself so we can go right in. So,
Yeah. So my name is Matili. I'm Iribami's friend. I'm here to speak about free
thank you so much.
speech.
Iribami is very happy. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to you know come and let's
No
have a
worries.
chat. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Let's see how we can dissect you know this dilemma of a topic.
Mm-hmm.
Free speech in the digital age. Now, social media has become the new town square, as we all know, a
Mm-hmm.
place where ideas spread faster than ever. But what happens when free speech turns into a speech? Should
Mm-hmm.
platforms be responsible for censoring harmful content, or does any restriction, set a dangerous precedent? On one side, we have the argument for absolute free speech, which I'm all for, and the belief that any limitation on expression threatens our freedom itself. On the other side, we have reality that words do have power, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the power to incite harm,
Mm-hmm.
division, and even violence. The digital world amplifies both free speech and hate speech. Algorithms prioritize engagement, sometimes rewarding the most extreme and divisive content. And that raises some big questions. Who gets to
Mm-hmm.
decide what crosses the line? Should government step in with stricter regulations? Or should private companies, such as X, Facebook, set their own policies? And most importantly, how does all this in itself impact our society, our democracy, and our personal freedom? In this episode, we'll explore different perspectives with my friend here. Real
Mm-hmm.
life cases, potential consequences of
Mm-hmm.
regulating or not regulating speech of not regulating speech in this digital age. You know. So please stick with me as we navigate this complex and crucial conversation. Thank you guys. So Batuli,
Mm-hmm.
we want to dive into the first segment of this the free speech argument. I want to know why free speech is such a fundamental human right, and how does it apply in this digital age?
I think free speech is a human right because it allows people to express themselves, allows people to, have their own opinions and be able to voice them and be able to voice their own experiences with things. Um, and obviously now we have the digital world where everything is it's part of like human daily life where everything is expressed on there all the time. Um, yeah, so that's my thoughts on free speech.
So yeah, that was actually nice. So I like the take, but how do we define the line between free speech and hate speech? How do we know when that line has been
Mm.
crossed?
I think for me, hate speech is when, you started to now be like express some malice or like hate towards a certain group of people, which can then lead to something like violent or hateful. I think that's where that sort of crosses the line from free speech to hate speech.
So
So,
is it still a speech if it is just one person and not a marginalized group of people. Like, for example, I
Mm,
can, decide, maybe, let's assume we are not friends, and I meet you in
mm,
the street or something, and we, have a spat, or an argument, and I decide to personally attack your character in a way that
mm,
makes you feel kind of less worthy of yourself.
mm.
Would that be characterized as a speech, or just me being an ass?
I think I think it would depend on what you say or like how extreme it is, but because people have a
Okay,
disagreeing.
let's say I abuse your
Uh-huh,
body,
uh-huh.
your look,
Yeah.
your family,
Mm,
but not your race.
okay. I would say that would be offensive. I'll say that would
But
be
but,
offensive.
but
It's
not hateful.
but not hateful. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't.
So if it comes with race, then it's hateful.
I would. Yeah. I would say that. I would consider that hate
So I think so.
speech.
So race is the bridge
No,
to
it could
cross
be
with
race. Um.
gender.
It could be gender. It could be even some like even body shaming. To be honest, could be a line because
Is
there's
is body
lines for
shaping hate
different.
speech?
Um. I feel like it could be classified. Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
Well, I've never body shamed
Hmm.
anybody before, but I'm not sure. I don't know. You
But
you
yeah,
will
that's the
have
thing.
to.
Like it's hard to put a line on how far it has to get for it to then be considered hate speech.
Oh, yeah. I
I think,
yeah. I guess so.
yeah.
So you are all for regulations then on speech, or
Or
posts, or tweets on on social media then.
I am just like I agree with free speech. I agree, like we're human beings. We're gonna have different opinions and different thoughts, and we can disagree with each other, and that's fine. But as
Mm,
long as everyone's being like respectful and not trying to cause any malice or violence towards, it can even
mm.
be a person, to be honest. It doesn't have to be a group. If it can be a person,
Because I
yeah.
think, because in Germany, I think, according to Germany, because I read in a documentary about like 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
you are not allowed to criticize the government in any shape, way, or form,
Mm,
or, how would I put it now? Post something negative about somebody, or you can't just do some things that, like,
yeah.
some things you
But
can get away with here in the UK.
hmm
You can't get away with in some other
in other
places.
countries, yeah. And I don't, to be honest with you, I don't agree with that because, again, people should be able to voice their opinions, even if it comes to the government. If they're saying, oh, they think the government is rubbish because they're doing this, this, and that, or anything like that, they should be able to voice it because
Mm.
it's not causing the government like harm or
I
violence.
think I think the thing is, many people have soft feelings.
Mm.
Where a lot of people act tough offline, but
Yes.
online, the feelings that can be hurt easily. So maybe
Mm.
you hurt my feelings, I report you, they come and take you away,
Yeah.
and I feel good about myself because I have the upper hand or something.
Mhm.
I think it's just like that. Um,
Mhm.
Last week, I think there's a story about parents that were arrested in the UK, yeah,
Mhm.
because the school authorities reported them for something they said about some of the schools take on some things on their
Mm.
WhatsApp group chat,
Mhm.
and they were arrested, and it's like it was a big news on BBC and stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want us to be in a situation where we go into a slippery slope
Mhm.
of forgetting what it means to be able to say what you have to say,
Yeah.
without fear of being maligned, fear of being ostracized, fear of
Mm.
being deplatformed,
Yeah.
or fear of being attacked
Mhm.
in a way that makes you feel like someone is gunning for you. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
everybody. I think speech is the basic freedom of every human being. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't want a situation whereby restrictions should be
Mm.
on what we say, but notwithstanding, we ourselves being careful about not, you know, giving some rhetorics bad, you know, rhetoric about some group of people, like you said before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take for example, the war in Israel and Gaza.
Mhm.
It's a it's a very delicate thing,
Yeah.
and you know, both sides of the aisle,
Mhm.
you know, take issues to people that try to support one person,
Yeah.
not thinking of the other person,
Mhm.
support the other person, not thinking of one person. It's, you know,
Mhm.
it's too much to take at times, but
Yeah.
we as individuals, you know, we must be
Mhm.
careful so as we don't, you know, go into that slippery slope of hate
Exactly.
speech.
Yeah.
And also the platforms should not go to the slippery slope of restricting speech
Mhm.
in itself.
Mhm.
There's something they call Nigeria right to individual personality.
Mhm.
That means I can make an argument,
Mhm.
even if it's a stupid argument.
Yeah.
It is my right to make such arguments,
Yeah.
and it is your right to also listen to me. I not judge me for being stupid. Oh god.
I think, to be
Like
honest,
someone,
that's
like some,
fine.
yeah, like someone was saying last week. He said,
Mhm.
"I'm all for free speech because without free speech, how will we know the dumb people in society?" Yes, I'm all for free speech because that's when
Yeah.
we know people that are actually dumb,
Mm.
or people that see some
Mhm.
things that, oh, is this really the way
Yeah.
you think? Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Thank you,
Yeah.
free speech, for letting me know how you feel about some things.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think obviously with platforms regulating what people say, there's just obviously free speech and saying what you want, even if it's dumb. And someone might agree with you, or someone will disagree with you, and
Yeah.
that's fine. But I think there still needs to be some sort of regulation, because when something goes bad or like leads to hate speech, there needs to be some sort of
Well, people abuse the regulations also
mm,
because I remember the the last owner of Twitter
hmm
itself,
yeah,
where a lot of people were deplatformed, the accounts were
mm,
blocked, were taken down, you know,
hmm
even on Facebook, and
hmm
it was due to pressure from external forces like the government. Even Mark Zuckerberg said, I think he gave an interview with Joe Rogan when Trump won,
hmm oh,
and he
okay,
said that and said he was under a lot of pressure
hmm
to fact check, to the platform, to do a lot of things that you know
mm,
undermine the freedom of people,
people,
and it's not nice because yes, we can call for you know regulations,
hmm
but the regulators themselves can abuse their power
that's true,
and they
yeah,
can impugn and they can you know impede on the rights of people to say
yeah,
what they want to say.
hmm
So far, it's not inciting violence against other people,
mm,
and so far, it's not maligning the character of another person or outrightly slandering people for no reason.
mm,
Then say what you want to say.
hmm
It's a free country. It's a free world.
yeah,
Yeah, but
that's true, yeah,
that's the only thing I have to do regulations because the regulators themselves can become
can,
gods.
yeah, and they can
I
be
know,
biased as well,
yeah, I know
yeah,
one thing. Give people a little power, and you see their true
they can.
self, you see what they're made of, you know,
Hmm.
and titles, most people like titles, man.
Yeah. They love it. They love it.
Yeah,
But I
I'm the
think
chief.
that's. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
how it works. I don't know if it's one person or if it's like a board of people who then
yeah. I think
come up
for the
with
Twitter, and it
regulations.
was like a
Yeah.
board of people that
Mm,
were fact checking, and they were like biased in their
mm,
thinking, and
yeah.
it led to a lot of unnecessary beef and
Mm, yeah.
dragging out of issues on the
Mm-hmm.
streets and
Mm-hmm.
people being just going crazy over
Yeah.
little things that they shouldn't go crazy about.
But, yeah.
So yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
for you know that, but like if you want to regulate, what regulators, what
Is it, yeah.
what are they regulating stuff like that? Do they have knowledge
Mm-hmm.
of what they want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, you give somebody title, I'm the chief regulator officer in X,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes to their head, and they start doing things that are not aligned with
Yeah.
personal freedom of individuals. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where we get the problem. So I don't want us to go into that slippery slope, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of yeah,
Yeah. I see what you
the
mean.
yeah, the slippery slope is too thin for us to
Mm-hmm.
be able to jeopardize that into regulations. Everybody should say what they want to say. If what you are saying is going to, affect a group
But
of people,
then,
I'll just
yeah.
advise, shut up.
See, you have faith in those people to shut up, but they won't. They won't do it.
Yeah,
So then where like what so then what would be the consequences or what would happen then? Say they aren't regulators or anything like that. What then happens to
that, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
If they're not regulators, it is now your responsibility as an individual to fine tune what you listen to,
Mm,
who you listen to, and where you get your information from. You understand? Like for example, let me read. I think I there was some um tweet I saw, and I went into the comment section,
mm-hmm,
and even the the government official had to post to say, look at you know these tolerant people and see what they're posting.
mm.
So I'm gonna read some of it to see whether you can you know
Okay, okay,
resonate with it or whether you condemn it.
okay.
So I won't say some words for sake of you know
Mm-hmm,
YouTube airwaves and things like that. So it
yes.
says, "You blanking living treasonous piece of shit. I blame your blanking mother. You are a clown. You are a very very stupid ick. I don't know what ick is. You are destroying our democracy. You are a disgrace."
Mm,
So I think it's the first word I saw. It was treasonous piece of shit. The individual attacked the mother,
uh-huh.
which is no. He
Mm-hmm,
called him a clown, called him
mm-hmm,
stupid, called him a
mm.
disgrace.
Could have could have a lot of things though.
Yeah, I called him a lot of things. So
A lot of things.
is that
Uh-huh.
is that is that hate speech, or that's just trolling?
That is that's but
Yeah, not sure. I can't hear you. What did you say? Yeah, I can hear you now.
okay, yeah. Could you hear me before?
No, I could not hear you before. I didn't know what you said.
Oh, sorry, I'll repeat. So, yeah, I was saying that is it's obviously offensive and rude and disrespectful, but I wouldn't consider it being hate speech.
Oh, why?
Uh,
Why is that?
only because I don't think it's inciting like
Violence.
violence. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, I feel like it's trolling, and that person could very much be blocked, basically. Be blocked. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no violence. There's no calling for beheading of the person.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if someone started using threatening words and stuff like that,
Yeah, like
that's when.
I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm much more inclined into politics nowadays. So I listen
Mm-hmm.
to a lot of political news, most especially in the United States.
Yep.
So I think Trump now is deporting a lot of immigrants,
Yeah.
and there was this guy that posted on X advocating that any immigration officer the immigrants see, they should shoot on sight.
Ah. Wait.
He
Wait.
said- yeah, that's what he said. He said shoot on sight. Like they
Wow.
have no right to come and take you. Shoot on sight. Shoot on sight. Like and he got arrested.
Oh. Yes. Because.
Yeah, I think the thing that baffles me is the people that say these things don't know they can be traced or tracked or like
Mm,
I don't know how you think you can just do. I think people think they can just do some things, say
exactly.
some things, and get away with it without
That
consequences. That is the
exactly.
problem in this digital
Mhm.
age, because whatever you say stays
Mhm.
forever. Nothing gets deleted on social media.
Mhm. Exactly.
Secondly, the government keeps tracks of
Of everything.
everything. They know
Everything.
where you are. They know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Sorry, excuse me. They know what you're doing.
Mhm.
So if you say one thing that incites,
Yeah.
you know, certain group of people to go commit violence or go
Exactly.
be, they
Yeah.
will come for you. And
Yes.
I was so shocked that I think he said the thing, then the Trump supporters were posting saying, "Oh, look at what this guy's saying! Look at what this guy's saying!" And the next
Mhm.
thing, within 20 hours, I just saw another news. He's been arrested. What?
Ah.
I said, "Whoa, they are very efficient. Yeah,
Oh, if they
he's been
want to be,
arrested.
they'll be very efficient.
Yeah,
If
he's
they
been
want to be.
arrested." And I was just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, really?" So they know where we are. They know
Mhm.
what we're doing.
They track
So
everything. They track everything.
yeah,
It's digital. Like, as soon as it's digital, they can track anything. So
yeah.
I
So
think.
we want to go to the
Mhm.
next segment. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, Batuli.
No.
I'm really enjoying the conversation.
Mhm.
So how does hate speech impact individuals and communities? Particularly marginalized groups. What the impact of what people
Um.
say
I
on
think
this
that
individual?
I think the impact can be very negative, unfortunately, because
Mm,
when it comes to hate speech, a lot of it is extreme, a lot of it is misinformation,
mm,
and I feel like obviously because it's in a digital space and we work with algorithms, the more people look at it and comment on it, the more it comes up. And if someone keeps seeing the same sort of things again and again and again, they're gonna start believing it.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't do research no more. They just like believe what's on TikTok or
No.
what's on
No.
or Facebook
Well,
or whatever.
I think I'll tell you a personal story of myself. Like
Hmm.
when I was in school, like
Hmm.
doing my masters,
Yeah.
this classmate of mine, and she's a classmate of mine. She was always carries, taking around the bag this free Palestine patch
Hmm.
on the bag, and I think one day me and her, we didn't get into like we were just having a conversation. I think she started getting, rousy because I said my take on this whole Israel and Palestine thing is I just want the killing to stop
Hmm.
because irrespective of who you support, be it the one side or the other side, human lives are being wasted,
Yeah.
and that's a no-no for me.
Hmm.
I don't want any life, especially lives of little kids and babies, and
Exactly. Yeah.
it's bloody on both sides. I don't want death
Mm.
because it's just that's not worth it at all.
Hmm.
And I think she she wasn't too happy because I didn't outrightly um support who she wanted me to support, and I said,
Okay. Yeah.
I,
Hmm.
I said I'm not gonna. I'm not. First of all, I'm not from either country.
Yeah.
Mine is war doesn't benefit anybody
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
The people that suffer from the impact of war are the
Or the
innocent.
civilians, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, the innocent people that are innocent in all this thing, people that don't have a stake in the fighting at all.
Mm-hmm.
So why so much killing, especially the little ones? I don't. So and I told her that's my mind. There's nothing you can say
Yeah.
that will change it. I just don't want killing.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like you want me to say something, I'm not gonna do that. I just don't want the
Mm-hmm.
killing. And I
Yeah.
felt like okay, she was not too happy. She was not too happy. So can hate speech lead to real world harm? And are there any notable cases to demonstrate this? Like, do you know of any? Yeah, I think hate speech can lead to real world harm. You
Yes,
know.
they can. Like, obviously, from my experience, not my experience, but like a lot of what's when, for example, there was terrorist attacks around different places in the world, or
Hmm.
even in London, um, or in the UK, sorry, a lot of it then led to hate speech towards people who are Muslim,
Yeah,
and
okay.
how it somehow got associated to then everyone who was Muslim needed to get out of the country, and people were basically not vibing with with Muslim people. They weren't vibing with Muslim people, and
Mhm.
then obviously that comes with hate speech and things like that, and then
Okay.
misinformation.
Yeah.
When are you finishing?
So sorry.
Sorry, don't worry.
Uh, yeah.
I continue. So, yeah, so it leading to misinformation and hate speech, um, and then how it just becomes very discriminatory. Discriminatory behavior towards that certain group, um, and it does affect them, like because then that group now is walking around in fear of something happening to them. I think,
Mm.
or I don't know if it was America or so, but like there was this person who had been seeing all this hate speech, and they were believing that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they
For
they
example,
actually
I
went
think
out and started shooting, or
yeah.
I don't know if I can
For
say
ex-
that.
for ex-
Yeah.
I think I'll give you one example myself because I
Mhm.
think the assassination attempt on Donald Trump last year
Mm.
was a result of his speech because they kept calling him Hitler, 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 Hitler.
Mhm.
I don't know why they're doing that, and I think somebody genuinely thought
Yes.
he was a threat to democracy and decided to take actions into
Mhm.
his or her own hands and decided to go and shoot the person up. And in in the real sense, it's so disheartening
Mhm.
because most people are so gullible that
Yep.
they believe what they see online
Mhm.
or they without making um
Their own judge.
concrete
Yeah.
investigations into some certain content they see.
Mhm.
Some people just take everything they see at face value.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are notable cases for that.
Mhm.
Speech.
Mhm.
Um, the most terrorist attack you see, it's speech that causes,
Yeah.
um, you know, these terror attacks. Even I watched a documentary of Hitler.
Mhm.
This is a guy that talked the the whole world into a world
Yes.
war,
Basically.
and
Yeah.
he just talked, and
Mhm.
his crazy speech were like what got everybody riled up, and everybody just started killing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question I had to ask is
Mhm.
now that we've realized that okay, I think hate speech can cause real harm. So the social media algorithms make the problem worse. by amplifying harmful content, because this
Oh,
this
yeah.
pro- this issue of algorithms is what I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand. Because
Mm,
I think why is it that if I post something, it doesn't go viral, but if you post
mm.
something, the whole world sees it and goes gaga.
Yeah.
That- So is it that they're selectively pushing out more
Mm,
of the other person's content than my content, because they want that person, either whether the person is a good person or a bad person,
mm-hmm.
to benefit from public affection or publicity, because they
Mm-hmm.
say that even bad publicity is,
Is
is
is that good
it's a
publicity?
thing
That's
nowadays that can make you into celebrity status.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I feel like unfortunately we're in an era where negativity spreads much faster, much quicker, gets more views, gets more comments than
yeah.
anything positive. So, and I feel like that's um what the algorithm pushes as well. If they're seeing a lot of interaction in a certain post, then that's what it pushes, I think.
Mm,
Um, and obviously interactions mostly happen when there's various opinions happening, which means someone said something controversial and now
yeah.
people are talking and fighting in the comment section,
Yeah,
and
especially
now
when it
it's getting
comes
pushed.
to celebrities,
Mhm.
I think they will just say something, and everybody does. Especially especially in Nigeria,
Mhm.
where we fight over little things.
Mm.
Davido, Wizkid,
Oh
uh,
yes.
it's just, I don't know the problem.
Uh
Jollof rice and Ghana jollof rice and Nigerian
huh.
jollof rice.
Uh
The
huh.
little things that don't make
That
that
don't
much sense.
that don't
Or
matter.
who is the richest artist between Davido and Wizkid and Burna Boy? What the
Mm.
heck?
Yeah, all that
That's
stuff.
so,
See.
yeah. So all those hateful, or I don't want to say hateful, all those kind of rhetoric that
Yeah.
incites people to just hate a human being for no
Yeah.
reason.
Like at all.
It's alarming. It's
Mhm.
just it's not
Yeah.
it's not healthy at all.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Then
So
after.
what are the dangers of this misinformation and extremist content spreading unchecked? What are the dangers?
As I mentioned before, like it leading to now real world harm, like
Mm,
people actually believing it and people actually then going out of their way to commit something violent because they
mm,
believe in this misinformation and
yeah,
extreme views
yeah.
on whatever subject it is. Yeah.
Mm. So I want to move to the last question.
Hmm.
So the last segment. I mean, sorry. So who gets to decide? Should
The
government should
big
government
question.
regulate? No, it's the last segment. So who gets to decide? Should government regulate online speech, or does that threaten democracy or freedom? Do you feel that the government should come in and regulate
No.
what we post online, what we say
Mm,
online? Because that's not going to be good.
yeah. I don't think I feel like in a perfect world, if the government wasn't biased, they would be able to at least make some generic,
Mm.
regulations. But I don't think that's happening in this real world. I think if they
No,
were
it's
to
happening.
make,
It's happening. It's happening. It happens in Germany.
oh no, yeah, it's happening. It's happening. No, what I'm saying is that it's not, it's not non-biased. Like it's when the government gets involved, it's going to be biased. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. Because
So.
if you criticize one person, you're going in.
Mhm.
You're doing
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Like I think I was so like perplexed when I saw about the German things that like,
Mm.
and they make it such a big deal. They go sometimes they go with SWAT teams to pick them up. Why are you going with SWAT teams to pick up people that say something online?
Exactly.
I
But
don't
then
know.
there's places like, China, who I think everyone knows how they are. Like,
Oh yeah,
they have, like, the government have full censorship of everyone and everything.
yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of
Mm.
hard to say
So
who.
if we don't want the government
Hmm.
to regulate what we say, so what role should the tech companies play in moderating the content? Should they have the final say instead of the government? And what should be the extent of their regulations in terms of shutting down content, shutting down people that speak, in
Mm,
what way? Because that actually happens. Because if the tech companies collude with the government,
hmm.
it's another thing itself. I think that
Yeah.
happened in the last administration in the US because
Hmm.
there were reports that the tech companies were colluding with the government to censor people, to platform people.
Mm, yeah.
If they criticize the government, they call it hate or misinformation. So
Hmm.
those kind of things fall into a slippery slope. So, like,
Yeah.
what role should the tech companies play? Should they just leave everybody to say what they want to say, or should they?
I think they just have to have some
Mm,
rules or some regulations. Like, yeah, I think it has to be like a fine balance,
yeah.
because people should be able to express themselves and obviously have free speech, but then there has to be consequences for spreading hate speech or
Mm,
spreading um misinformation.
mm,
So if there are regulations and they're on a platform that they can be reported on, if someone reports them for hate speech or something inappropriate, then they have to the platform have to use, or tech company have to use, their rules and regulations to then, make a judgment and see,
mm.
is it or is it not. If it is, take the account. If it's not, put the account back on. I think that's my view on it anyway.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of the platforming people. I just feel,
Mm,
people will be people,
yeah,
irrespective of the platforming them. So why would you want to, suppress the words of another person because you don't like what they say? So far, it's not like, I will always say. So far, it is not inciting violence,
yeah.
threatening to other people.
Hmm.
What's the big deal?
I mean, but that's the
If
thing.
you don't allow them to
Yeah,
if you don't allow them to say what they want to say, how would you know who they are?
yeah. But that's the like line. So they can
Yeah,
say
that's the
what they
line,
want to say.
obviously.
Yeah, they can say what they want to say, even if it's like offensive or silly or people don't agree with it. That's their opinion, right? That's how they
Yeah,
express
that's
themselves.
free
But now,
speech.
exactly. But then when it comes to, if they're saying something, as you said, like threatening or misinformation, hate speech, and doing it continuously, then there has to be consequences for that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. I understand. So
Yeah.
what should be the alternative solution? Should there be fact checking? Should there be warning labels? What should be the alternative solution instead of them moderating content?
Mm. I,
Because right now, I think
mhm.
Facebook has ended fact checking. X has
Oh,
ended fact checking.
is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, they
I
did.
thought it was a good.
Facebook did that last week. I think now they
Oh.
have community notes like X. They want to migrate to community notes like X. X has my community notes now instead of fact checking because the fact checkers obviously are biased also
Mm.
because
Yeah.
everybody has an opinion of something.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
The fact checkers themselves are biased.
Mm.
So what should be the alternative solution? I think there should just be warning labels, okay, instead of if this speech is causing
Mhm.
some violence or some type of harmful rhetoric to other people, then
Mhm.
there should be a caveat
Mm.
on the speech that that demean instead of taking it down because that I don't want it to suppress. Just use the same algorithm to suppress the visibility
Mm.
so that much people will not see it, so that maybe only the person will end up seeing it instead of like a million people
Mm.
reposting that same thing.
Yeah.
I just feel that should be the thing. But who
Mm.
who, who undertake this task? That's the problem.
Exactly. Who's gonna undertake that? And
Yeah.
wait, but I thought algorithms were sort of like computer based. Like I don't, isn't it
Yeah.
AI? So I don't. Well, from my understanding, I thought algorithm is based on what the person is viewing or what
Mm,
they like most. So I think if that video, even though
mm.
it has a warning, but people are talking on it or reposting, will the algorithm suppress it or will it like push it out more?
That's what I'm saying. Depends on the
Yeah.
owner of the
Mm.
of the tech company. If Elon
Right.
Musk
Yeah.
decides to keep pushing just
Mhm.
hateful speech, what can we do about it? Is his platform.
Mm.
So that
Yeah.
that's just it.
Mhm.
Let me ask you the final question, so
Mhm.
we can just or I think okay. So how do we? That's the final question. So how
Yeah.
do we now balance free expression with protecting people from harm? How do we
Mm.
balance it?
I do.
You know that we balance it.
Hmm?
Do you know how we balance it, or do you have any? Because I'm of the opinion that instead of locking people up for what they say,
Mhm.
I think that I know there's been a lot of education about educating people
Mhm.
um on how to voice out their frustration in a much more mannerly way.
Yeah.
There should be some course correction on
Mhm.
how instead of venting our anger, frustration on the car or something, how it can impact or how it can affect the mindset
Mhm.
of people.
Mhm.
People, what are the people? Well, if we can change the mindset of people to think positive in spite of the negativity around them,
Yeah.
then I think it can, go a long way instead of
Mhm.
just, causing for more mayhem and mayhem and mayhem and mayhem. So I think on that note, it's that's
Mhm.
where I want to just stand for for now.
Mm. Yeah.
Probably in the future, my um ideas or my perspective might change from
Mm.
everything going on.
Yeah. But yeah, I do agree with that. Like educating people and putting them on
Yeah.
courses and things like that, and different ways to, express what you feel without inciting violence, which
Mm.
is important. Um, but again, it will probably work for some people, but some people might not work and they might continue. Uh, so it's a bit hard to say. So, but
Mm.
yes, it's just that balancing of,
Mm. So, where
yeah.
do you see the future of free speech?
Mm. Well, I feel like now with obviously as you were saying with X and Facebook, I feel like it's definitely going towards like free speech, being a free speech absolutist, right? It's called, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to be honest, I think it's leading to that. Um, so I guess with that comes like what will then happen when things like hate
Oh,
speech come up.
thank
Yeah.
you. I think we're done.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Batuli.
No
I
worries.
really appreciate.
No worries. Thanks for having
Um,
me.
yeah, honestly, I I didn't know we'll go this far. It's just the two of us.
Mm,
It sounds interesting.
yeah.
I'd love to ask you more questions, but I know you're very busy.
Mm,
Would like to see you again.
yeah.
You know, I'll make sure I disturb you.
Okay.
Come on again. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No
I really
worries.
appreciate you taking out of the time, your busy schedule to come So let us know in the comment section or social media. Don't forget to like,
Mm-hmm.
subscribe, join us next time as we continue exploring the critical debate shaping our world. Till we see you again next week, guys. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
You're right.
Bye.
Bye.